Did the Empire really win the Battle of Hoth? On the surface, the Battle of Hoth appears to be a clear-cut victory for the Empire. They captured Echo Base, destroyed rebel defenses, and forced the rebellion to retreat. But the true cost of this battle reveals a much more complicated story. On Hoth, the Empire had a simple mission: crush the rebellion by taking Echo Base and capturing their leaders. Leading the charge was General Maximilian Veers, commanding Blizzard Force, an elite unit within the 501st Imperial Legion, specially trained for cold weather combat. Blizzard Force was equipped to handle the harsh conditions of Hoth, and they deployed the iconic AT-ATs, along with several AT-STs, to break through rebel defenses. Veers, commanding Blizzard 1, reported to Darth Vader that the Empire could commence its landing once the rebel power generator was neutralized. The plan was complex, but the cost was high, and the results were far less decisive than they expected. In their preparations, the Empire had to account for rebel starfighters attacking their dropships. Veers opted to use the more versatile Gozanti-class cruisers, which carried only 2 AT-ATs at a time, rather than the more efficient Titan dropships, which could carry 4. This slowed down the deployment and stretched the Empire's resources even thinner. Add to that the extreme weather conditions on Hoth, which made everything more difficult, and it was clear that the Empire was paying a high price for every inch of ground gained. Meanwhile, the rebel forces managed to strike a blow against the Empire. The rebel ion cannon disabled the Star Destroyer Tyrant, allowing the first wave of rebel transports, along with their fighter escorts, to escape before the Empire could fully enforce a blockade. On the ground, the Empire's forces pushed in from the north, moving past outposts Beta and Delta with heavy fire. But as they advanced, they met fierce resistance. Rebel trenches, laser turrets, and defensive positions slowed their progress, draining their resources. While the Empire succeeded in eventually destroying the shield generator, their chances of capturing key rebel leaders were slipping away fast. The Empire's main objective wasn't just to seize Echo Base. It was to cripple the rebellion by capturing its leadership. But Princess Leia Organa had planned for this well in advance. From Hangar 7, she oversaw the evacuation, ensuring transports departed in staggered waves to avoid detection by Imperial forces. Rebel officers worked tirelessly to guide personnel to the 30 medium transports stationed at the north entrance, keeping everything moving smoothly despite the mounting pressure. Leia and the other rebel leaders knew that a prolonged defense was impossible. Echo Base couldn't hold out against the Empire's overwhelming assault for long. Their plan was simple but effective. Prioritize the evacuation of key personnel, break through the Imperial blockade, and regroup at a secure rendezvous point. Even as the base filled with evacuees, officers maintained order, getting pilots and soldiers aboard their transports quickly and efficiently. This operation wasn't just about survival, it was about ensuring the rebellion's future. By evacuating its leadership and critical personnel, the rebellion preserved its ability to fight, making this tactical retreat a critical part of their long-term strategy. While the Rebel Alliance was forced to abandon Echo Base, their ability to evacuate key personnel turned this tactical loss into a strategic victory. With time running out, the rebels employed asymmetrical tactics to delay the Empire's advance. Snowspeeders, equipped with harpoon cables, targeted the legs of the AT-ATs, tripping them and holding the line long enough for many transports to escape. Meanwhile, defenders at outposts Beta and Delta sacrificed their positions to slow the walkers' progress toward the power generator, the final barrier against Imperial bombardment. Even when Imperial forces outflanked Outpost Delta with snowtroopers and an ATST walker, rebel forces didn't give up. They fought hard to delay the main assault, buying precious time for the evacuation to continue. The successful evacuation at Hoth demonstrated the Rebel Alliance's resilience, turning what could have been a crushing defeat into a powerful symbol of strength and adaptability. By adapting to the Empire's overwhelming strength, the rebels embraced decentralization and guerrilla tactics, becoming harder to target and more agile in their fight. In many ways, this adaptability became their greatest weapon, ensuring the rebellion's spirit and strength would endure. Was this really a victory for the Empire, or does it highlight the limits of sheer power? While military dominance often equates to victory, true success, particularly in the context of the rebellion, is defined by the ability to survive, adapt, and persevere. The Empire captured Echo Base, but they failed to destroy the spirit of the rebellion. This inability to dismantle the leadership or break the morale of the rebels ultimately weakened the Empire's position in the long run. This creates a paradox. In trying to crush the rebellion, the Empire inadvertently strengthened it. They relied on brute force to crush an enemy that didn't depend on holding territory. Destroying rebel infrastructure might have looked like success, but it didn't stop the fight. From the Empire's perspective, this should have been the end of the rebellion. Instead, it became another chapter in a war they couldn't seem to win. Their relentless need for total control created a cycle of resistance, one that ultimately led to their downfall. For the rebellion, this wasn't just about escaping. It was about preserving the fight. The true victory wasn't in holding Echo Base, but in keeping their spirit alive. In conclusion, the Battle of Hoth was a Pyrrhic victory for the Empire. They gained control of the base and neutralized many rebel defenses, but they failed to crush the rebellion's will. The rebels, in contrast, emerged from Hoth with their leadership intact, their spirit unbroken, and their ability to continue the fight stronger than ever. In the end, the real question isn't whether the Empire won the Battle of Hoth, but whether they ultimately won the larger war against the rebellion. And as history shows us, their victory on Hoth was short-lived.